If you're a human being, you probably like to listen to music, and there's a lot of different genres out there. For most people, the only question that they have is what kind of music to listen to. But what about how you listen to it? Let's bring it back. Back before the 20th century, music was not nearly as accessible as it is today. The luxury of musical entertainment was reserved for the wealthy and powerful of the world, and even when recording music became a possibility, it was a complicated process that required too much time and equipment to be marketable to the public, until the early 20th century, when the vinyl record was introduced to the world. Recorded music immediately became an important part of pop culture, and ever since then, the ways which we listen to music have been constantly evolving. From vinyl to cassette to compact disc to the digital age of music that we are a part of now. And there are even some other more obscure forms in between that never really caught on. Today it seems that most people listen to music through digital forms, but even though the technology has always been advancing, no form of recording has been completely abandoned. Any way that music can be listened to, you'll find someone who listens to it that way. I guess maybe newer doesn't always mean better. To find out, we decided to talk to a few people who would know a thing or two about music.
Roland Sullivan. I own and operate Wavepool Sound, which is my own home recording studio. And I've been tracking bands now probably 6 years. I started this studio with a tape machine, and that was the whole goal. I was all pro analog, and I was going to not use digital, and the tape machine broke. And it cost a whole lot of money to fix it, and I couldn't afford to fix it, so I got into the digital end of things. And as I got going, I realized I could do a heck of a lot more in the digital world. And the quality is excellent. I just got into high-res audio, which is 24-bit, 96 kilohertz stuff. Just got into it. And so it was pretty surprising. I have a friend who designs speakers, and he comes by and we listen to music, once every couple weekends. He'll just pop by and we'll listen to tunes, we'll spin vinyl, we'll listen to CDs. And he came in and I told him that I just tried this digital high-res stuff, and he was totally against it. He's like, oh, it's crap, FLAC files, it's garbage, oh, I heard that, it's horrible. So I sat him down and we did some listening, and what I ended up doing was I have some high-quality digital files that are high-res. I played some really good recordings, CDs, and I played some fantastic recordings on vinyl. And after we listened to it all, we all agreed they all sounded good. As long as the source material is good, the sound is good. Vinyl has a different sound comparatively, but it's a lot of work. You have to keep your records clean, you have to keep your turntable clean, you have your stylus, there's all these physical parts.
And I've been playing drums about 35 years. I've played professionally in New York City, Toronto, and Montreal. While I was in New York City, I had the opportunity to tour the world with several different artists and tour all over America. The changes between vinyl and the analog world into the digital world, honestly, I don't really think it's affected me that much. Yes, the digital medium is cleaner, but it also does lack a certain amount of warmth, especially if you have a good system for analog records. There's a very slight element that's missing. The biggest difference, though, is the social aspect, going from analog to digital. I remember classic, the new Rush record would be coming out, and there would be a lineup at the store, So we used to line up, a good block long, and everyone excited to buy the new Rush record. Nowadays, CDs and digital downloading, honestly, I don't think this generation appreciates anything new. It's a disposable society now, and if it doesn't come quick, and if you can't get rid of it quickly, has no use. Even if it is great, you only consume it for a very short time. And that's even affected me. I'm less patient with things, and I have, no time to hang out and savor anything, it seems.
My name is Richard Bowden. I'm the Director of Sales at Bay and Bloor Radio. We're located in Toronto at the corner of Bay and Bloor. We've been around for 67 years, and really since the beginning we've been at the forefront of home entertainment. We have kind of an interesting store, and this is not a normal slice of the industry. Our experience over the past several years has been that turntables now are far outselling compact disc players. Now you're dealing with one example at the corner of Bay and Bloor, and you're dealing also with CD players being in a free fall, because most people that did listen to CD because it was convenient have drastically and rapidly switched to using their computer as their main source. If you look at the history of home entertainment, there's always been a compromise between convenience and sound quality. What's interesting is that most people will, when they sit back and listen to it, will pick the analog source. So if you do a blind listening test and you say, play exactly the same recording on CD or on an iPod or on a turntable, when people have no idea which one is playing, they will universally pick the analog recording. In terms of the future, I think there will continue to be people who will choose the most convenient. They'll choose the fact that they want to have every song they've ever heard in their car. They want to have it when they're traveling, and that's fine. And there will be people who really get involved with music and sit down and they go, how do I make this the most involving experience? And they'll buy a very good system. They'll play records. And certainly we haven't heard anything so far that sounds as good as a good vinyl-based system.
So it turns out, even with the widespread adoption of digital music, vinyls are still being bought, sold, and listened to by many people. But with the convenience and ease of use of digital, is vinyl really something that'll be around forever? As long as there's a demand for it, it'll stick around. And I think that there just might be a few people who will keep analog alive.
If you come over to my house, there's many, many times that I just turn on my MacBook, I control it with my iPad. It's really, really cool. Everybody thinks it's very futuristic, and it sounds really, really good. But if you want to sit down and you really want to listen to music, you will probably be much more impressed and more involved when I play vinyl.
I would say that they have different characteristics that I really love. If it was like you really have to choose one, it would be like an inconsequential choice. Either one would be great. I guess if it was like that, just for the sake of it being interesting, I'd probably choose the vinyl just because it'd be interesting. I would choose either one and be happy with it. That's how I feel. Yeah.
I'm a vinyl lover. I love vinyl. I prefer vinyl if I'm sitting and listening, because I like the tactile, holding a big record, and there's a lot to read there, and it's a process, right? You got to get up, you put the record on, you clean your record, you turn it on, you sit down, and you're committed to sitting there and listening to it. You're not going to wander around because you've just made a decision. You're playing a record, and it's going to end in 20 minutes. Then you got to stop, flip it over, and so I like it for that. So I actually listen to vinyl on weekends when I got the time to just chill with a morning coffee. I'll throw on a record or four, depending on what I got going on, and that's what I like vinyl for. I like it because it's a heck of a lot more of an experience.
When it comes down to it, how you listen to music is all about personal preference. Whether you're jamming out with a high-end record player or just playing some MP3s on your phone, music is all about enjoyment. So go put on your favorite artist and just appreciate music for what it is.